I'm going to take a slight departure today. I always have stuff like pencils, and pens, and stuff like this just laying on my bench. And I need a place to put them. So, years ago I had a little pen holder. And it was leather. Nothing fancy at all. And I just had a bottom that I cut out. And it was glued in. It was a nice heavy bottom. So this is a scrap piece of 8 to 9 ounces. This is all out of my scrap bin. This was left over from something that didn't work out. So it's all finished. There's no top coat on it, but it doesn't matter. Just a piece of leather, 3 to 4 ounce. So I'm just gonna trim everything up, or true it up. Like I said, this is just going to be done a dirty, quick little project. So my overall length here is going to be 7 inches. Make sure this is at 1/8. I'm just going to draw a line on each side. Following me so far? Just got a line down each side, and I'm going to determine one end to be the bottom. And we're going to make a hole at 1/8 there. I've never done a box stitch before. We might just give that a crack here. Box stitch is simply, it's going to go through at an angle and then it's going to punch through our base. First thing I need to do is determine how big my base is going to be. So I need to stitch this up. To do that, I need to punch some holes. So, what kind of punch do I want to use? Doesn't much matter. We'll just grab our diamond punch here. Now I don't want to punch on the line that goes across the long way. So I'm gonna, put my punch down there, mark it, and then I'm just going to come up a spot. You're only punching through one little layer, 3 to 4 ounce here, so you don't need to put on your Hulk strength for that. So we're not perfectly straight, don't really care. I have some black thread handy. I have no idea how much this is going to take. It's going to take a bit though. Yeah, this will do. So I was watching another YouTube channel. Gosh, what was it? Mascone Leather, I think. Try to remember to put a link down to his channel in the bottom there. Pretty good channel. No commentary, just some good leather work. And I saw that here's a cart that he keeps a lot of his leather tools on. And on that cart, it's got a magnet stuck there. And that's where these needles are. And I thought, damn, good idea. So I thought, hey, I bet I can incorporate that onto my new workbench because, well, it's portable. It moves. So, on the side of my bench over here, on the side over there, I stuck a magnet. I stick my needles on there. Just did that today. And it's already turning out to be pretty doggone handy. So there's two ways I can do this. I can make the X on the inside or I can make the X on the outside. Doesn't make much difference. I like the X on the outside. So we run the first stitch through. Even up our thread. And it gets a little tricky in the beginning here. I've done a couple of these, so they are not really the most fun thing to do with your time, but they're cool. Normally I would even use a different kind of thread. So my first run through here, I'm going to double up on the bottom here. So I'm going to run this one through. Come on. Make sure you poke yourself in the finger a couple of times. Even though these needles are blunt, they'll draw blood. Now if you have your access, some of these, it's probably a good time to make use of them. Now that I'm thinking about it. That'll hold that together for you. So, since I want the X on the outside, I'm going to come back through. Remember how I say you can never have enough light? Case in point. Going here. Just there. Sometimes you can't win for losing. It's just the bottom here is just going to get tricky to get going. Alright, Now I'm just going to go so right to left and the next hole up. Now some of this you'll be able to reach from the inside at the bottom or the top to get to it. If you can't, you can, this is where a good needle comes in handy. If you have curved needles, they come in even handier. That can go like that. So you can you're never really going to be able to pull this super tight. I'm just going to kind of snug things up. And you always want to follow the same pattern. So if you start with the right, you always want to go right first. And you can always tell because of how you crossed over. Okay? So my top thread is coming from the right over the left. So I want to start with my left first. Because I want that one on the bottom. And then I'll take my right and go through. So I'll get a couple more of these done. One more here. I'll try to get you on a close-up here. Probably should have done this with white thread on. You'd be able to see it better. That's how it looks so far. I'm just gonna let you guys off the hook here and I'll finish stitching it when I get to the end. I'll turn you back on. So there's what it looks like. And all I did is when I got to the top, I put the 2 needles through, and now I'm just gonna make a square knot. Pretty simple. Cut the needles off of here just to make it a little easier. Watch this. Stick them right to my magnet so they don't get lost. So a square knot, go one over the other, pull it down tight. Again, instead of the same way that I did it, you go the opposite. So instead of right over left, you go left over right. And pull it down tight. Square knot ain't coming undone. And then you just clip the ends. If you want to, you can melt them. If I could find my lighter, I would, just so they're not hanging out there. that square knot certainly is not coming undone. So I know that there's a mathematical equation that will tell me what the circumference of that is. Math is not my strong suit. You know how I know that? I don't know. I just don't like math. So I round it out as best I can. Try to measure. I think we're roughly I'm betting about a 2 1/8 inch. So what's half a 2 1/8? Is that a 1 1/16? Go 1 1/8, just to be on the safe side. I don't care what the inside of this looks like, so no fancy circle cutters in the FatMan leather shop. Yeah, it's a little bit, it's a touch big, but there's 2 ways we can remedy that. One of them is just get over on the Dremel and just kind of round it off a little bit. Nice. Couldn't ask for much better. So that's really all there is to it. And I can just glue that in there. It'll never come out. I mean, the contact cement is good for that, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it in, and when I get around to it, I will stitch it if I feel like it. To do the stitching, I will probably just use an awl and make my holes. But a box stitch is basically you go in from the side. Well, I'm going to get the glue in here and set it up, and maybe we'll do a little bit of box stitching. I'll be back in a bit. Alrighty, I decided I'm not going to try to stitch this. I'm not going to try to do that box stitch. I'll do a video one of these days that I'll show you how to do all the box stitching, and a nice video with the cross stitch, or how to do this X stitch, and how it works on both sides of the leather. And a couple of other things I've got. There's a, oh, what do they call it? I know there's a name for it. It's a lacing stitch. I want to call it a Spanish braid. I can't remember. It's a really, really cool looking stitch, and it's for basically for joining 2 pieces of leather this way, flat ways together, and it looks really nice. It's really sweet. It's a braid more than a stitch. And some other methods of lacing, some buck stitching, some double loop lace, but there's all kinds of cool things you can do with lace. And I've got a couple of projects in mind where I'm going to be doing some lacing. So when I get a chance, I'll get to those, so you'll have to forgive me for that. Anyway, I'm going to leave this way. I've got a piece of lead around here, a disc, that'll fit right in the bottom of this. I'll drop that in there to have some weight in the bottom. And I'll throw a piece of leather over that. But for now, I have a place for my pens and pencils, can even drop my slicker in there for the time being until I get a spot made on my wing here. I'll show you my wings that are on my bench here when I get a chance. But with all that being said, I am going to have to sign off. I wanted to get, I know it's been a while since I had a video up, and I'm working on these holster videos right now, and I'll get those up as soon as I can. But for right now, I'm going to have this one, and I'm going to have to say see you later. I've been really busy with school, so you know, being 56 and going back to school is probably not the best thing I could have done, but what am I going to do? I can't drive truck anymore. I'm just not physically able to do it anymore. So we had to do something. So it's back to school we went, and I've got 2 classes going this summer, and they're in the summertime, and especially with this COVID stuff, everything is online and everything is shortened. One class is only 5 weeks long, the other is 8. These are normally 16-week long classes, so everything is truncated, and I'm trying to get through them. So y'all stay safe, God bless, and I'll catch you in the next video sooner or later.